Hello, everybody. This is Frank with Iron Age News. It is Tuesday, December 2nd, 1:30 in the afternoon, and we are following the Mark Kelly Sedition 6 and their continued assaults against President Trump, in which they are trying to drive a wedge between the Trump administration and the U.S. military. The Pentagon is sitting this one out, as we assumed they would, because they're fairly compromised, as we know. But the good thing for Kelly is he has the U.S. mainstream media behind him. And now, if you've seen, we're talking about war crimes and we're talking about bringing down an admiral and Pete Hegseth and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to be diving into a story the media desperately wants you to swallow hook, line, and sinker, since this is a nautical tale, a story dripping with emotional language, anonymous sources, weaponized law professors, and opportunistic politicians lining up for their moment on camera. They claim Pete Hegseth, Bloody Pete, ordered the killing of everybody on a narco-terrorism boat. We'll call this Project Murderboat because we liked the sound of it. All right, in the Caribbean. They claim Admiral Mitch Bradley illegally executed survivors. They claimed Trump's military is out of control. So let me tell you exactly what's going on here. Obviously, as we have said, this is a coordinated effort to fracture Trump's relationship with the military and destroy any admiral the president is considering elevating. And leading the charge, you know who it is, your favorite buzzkill, Senator Mark Kelly, to infinity and fucking beyond, right? Let's break this down for you. The Washington Post opens the entire scandal with this explosive line, kill everybody. Not that we're not thinking that when we see the ICE protesters, but we are discussing drug traffickers in a boat in the Caribbean Sea. No recording, there's no transcript, there's no evidence. They interviewed 7 individuals, none of which have names or jobs. This is not reporting, it's propaganda. It's probably slander and or libel, right? It's the oldest trick in the intelligence media playbook. You use a shocking phrase to hook the public emotion before any facts can be verified. You plant the seed and then you grow into the scandal. And then you let Congress pretend it's real, and now you can do what you want. The story has the fingerprints of a Pentagon leak operation. The same pattern we saw during Russiagate, the Ukraine impeachment frenzy, the Afghan withdrawal, leak war, anonymous, unverifiable sources, media amplification, congressional hysteria. It is a template, and they are running it again, hoping that you forgot what happened since 2 days ago. Once the emotional hook is set, the artificial is in place, the article wheels out, meaning the article that we're talking about. We aggregated 5 or 6 articles that looked like they were written by the same robot and then changed little words like a Mad Libs. If any of you remember Mad Libs, activists masquerading as legal scholars who oppose Trump's anti-narcotics terrorism strategy on ideological grounds. They declare, when dealing with people who are pushing poison into the United States, who work for groups that murder at will and terrorize at will, that this is murder. This is a war crime, and survivors are protected persons. Okay, so let's be clear. None of the people that were making these statements were briefed on anything. None of them saw classified intelligence. None understood or understand the operational context. None have the authority to make legal determinations. Their role is not to clarify anything. It is to criminalize Trump's national security leadership in theory when they can't do it in fact. This is narrative laundering, as all of your old comrades would tell you. Academia to media to Congress to televised outrage, all built on a foundation of speculation. The socialist Democrat juggernaut has had itself kneecapped in the last year. It is flailing around for something to absorb while it kills off any of the more mainstream members of its organization. It has hemorrhaged money and it is going to have a hard time replenishing itself due to the fact of the Doge operation and every new revelation that we find where these socialists have turned around and subverted U.S. taxpayer dollars to fund an enemy to destroy the United States. So while all that's going on, this article continues and it implies that Trump and Hegseth are blaming this Admiral Bradley, okay, about this whole murder boat thing. And they're saying why? Because manufacturing internal division is the easiest way to weaken a president's command authority. If the command structure does not want to deal with him, then it makes it hard to get anything done. Look at a totally sane Joe Biden and his withdrawal from Afghanistan and why that was such a festival, right? If operators believe Trump will throw us under the bus, which all these articles are like, Trump's going to throw this dude under the bus. Watch it happen. They start leaning toward the Pentagon bureaucracy, the same bureaucracy that despises Trump, fears Bradley, and wants to derail his career to stop it from going any further. They do not want guys like him in a legacy position when Trump is done being in office. It's not journalism. We call it psychological shaping. All right. And the message is directed straight at JSOC, SOCOM, and anyone who might one day serve under Trump. For those of you who don't know, JSOC is Joint Special Operations Command. SOCOM is Special Operations Command. And they're trying to tell you can't trust the president. And that is the real objective of these articles. They could give a shit less about those dead guys. They need to find a way to get the United States military to say, I don't want to follow illegal orders, right? Now in comes Senator Mark Kelly, helmet under his arm, his fucking aviator look, right? He's the concerned veteran on TV. But let's look at what he's actually doing. Mark Kelly is taking unverified leaks. This is a guy who came up in military culture and whatever astronaut culture is, because obviously he hasn't seen Tang in a while, right? And treats them as a legal fact. And then he's grandstanding with them in front of the camera to intimidate the very operators who protect this country. And why is that? Because he sees an opportunity. And here's something you should think about when Kelly's out there telling you all his war hero stuff that he did. Nobody has gone back, nor will they go back to every bombing mission that he did to see if they were all legitimate. Did he just kill some sand? The sand was very evil, as they would tell you in Generation Kill. Did he kill some women and children at a dinner party like Obama used to like doing? He really shouldn't be in that glass fucking house throwing stones, because I'll tell you what, he's probably got some marginal operations that he flew on, and 250-pound and up bombs are a lot different than shooting two guys in a boat. All right. Just saying. And suddenly, after all this goes on with his attacks and his blameless career, he's heading a Senate investigation into a Trump-aligned Secretary of Defense / War. That is not impartiality. That is positioning. Kelly wants the White House. We did an article way back when. Kelly wants the White House. He sees this as his chance to shine and that he can shit on every other opponent for the next 3 years by whipping this kind of stuff up. Kelly gives Democrats a veteran shield to hide behind while they kneecap Trump's national security bunch. And then where the story becomes more than politics and becomes dangerous to national security is when Congress politicizes an operation months after it happened based on a press leak and guesswork. The chilling effect on our warfighters is immediate. Imagine you're a drone operator or the JTAC or a special operations commander. You follow the rules of engagement. You follow the chain of command. You carried out the mission legally. It was approved by Washington. And suddenly there's Buzz Kelly on the Senate floor implying that you've committed war crimes based on an anonymous Washington Post leak, which can never be verified. That's not a classified briefing. It is a leak. This is how you break a military from the inside. You don't cut their budgets. You don't worry about recruiting. You do it with fear, fear of political persecution, fear of legal exposure, right? Fear that your civilian leadership will throw you away to score points on television. Didn't they have that happen to a certain Navy SEAL who was tried for murder? I don't think the American public forgot about him yet, have they? And they will see the same story being repeated again and again, this time with the Trump administration playing Eddie Gallagher. And then come the congressional vultures, right? The bipartisan probe, people that Mitch McConnell has picked out to do the job because it's bipartisan. They must want to get to the truth, right? Why wouldn't they? If it's both wings of the same bird, why would they not want to get to the truth? When the entrenched defense establishment feels threatened, it becomes magically bipartisan. They're not investigating truth. They're investigating Trump. It's not for what he did, but for what he might do. He is reshaping the military. He is trying to purge the ideologues. He is trying to promote fighters like Admiral Bradley. And this bipartisan code is nothing but a political hit operation masquerading as accountability. So you have a preemptive strike against Trump's future military command structure. Bradley, he's dangerous to these Pentagon types, not because he broke the law, but because he refuses to bow to the political caste system that he is somehow a part of, as went General Petraeus, right? He's actually a type of commander Trump elevates. He is mission focused, apolitical, combat experienced, and he's resistant to bureaucracy. So the deep state needs him gone before Trump moves him up the chain. And Hegseth, they've never liked Hegseth. He is a direct threat to the Pentagon's powdered wig, fucking ramrod stiff back that can't win a war in a goddamn sandbox, right? Because he believes in the war fighters and not the bureaucrats and not the big contractors. So they have to take them out with one fabricated scandal, and that is the play. So what you're seeing right now, the coordinated hysteria, this kill everybody phrasing, which I'm sure someone's going to get tattooed on themselves, or they're going to put it on a gun turret on one of these ships. The parade of academics, and of course, Mark Kelly in there running his mouth. This is not bipartisan concern. It's not journalism. It is not oversight. It is not accountability. It is outright political warfare. It is damaging to the country. It should be embarrassing to Mark Kelly, but what the fuck does he really know about anything, right? So that's about all for this. Keep your eye out. You're going to see more of these things as it goes along. All right. And otherwise, have a good day, and we'll talk to you later on. Goodbye.